You know those people who are really good at what they do. Very often they'll be like, "Oh, what's your biggest flaw?" I'm a perfectionist. Perfectionism. It sounds really good, but sometimes it's not. And I was thinking about that when it comes to game design and the cure to that, because most people that I've worked with on board games, I think a lot of them are high in conscientiousness. That personality trait where if you're high in it, you want everything to be very organized, and you strive for making the best thing you can make, which is great, right? And that's why we're game designers, because often in games, in board games specifically, in Euro games, you have some very organized steps, and the rules are also organized. And it's just the type of thing that I think rewards it. Just our society in general, I think, rewards high conscientiousness. But there is a drawback to getting too high in conscientiousness. And I think that is a huge issue for a lot of game designers, because what will happen is you'll end up spending too much time on things that don't matter, right? And I heard this example recently. Like, imagine you're making a video game and you've got 10 levels, and you spend a year on level 1, Well, if that game is going to take you 10 years to make, you're not going to get the feedback, or it's going to be a big waste if you get to that game out there and the feedback that you get from people is, "Oh, this game is flawed." Like, you know what I mean? And that goes for getting that early feedback and showing your thing when it's not perfect. And I think that's a hump a lot of us need to get over, because I've seen people who have said things like, "I've been working on my game for over 20 years." Actually, I asked people this question, just how long they've spent on their project. And it's hundreds of hours will go on a project. And if you want to make a board game, yeah, often that's going to be it, because there's so many different decisions you need to make and so many aspects that go into it. It takes time. But I don't think you want to spend too long by yourself in it. So one thing that I would recommend you do, if you're that type of person, or if you've been working on a game for a year and you don't want it to be a waste when you start pitching it and you realize, well, publishers don't want this, and you've already invested so much. It's so much worse than if you spend, say, a month on a game. Then throwing out a month, it happens. But you're going to learn, and you're going to learn for next time. And then you're going to build on a foundation, build on something that you've learned. So it's going to get better. But if you spend a really long time and you need to throw it out, oh, wow, I just threw out 5 years of this thing. In game design terms, the way to fix this for a lot of people is to take part in things like game jams. I realized quite a few of my published games have started out as a game jam. And what a game jam is it's a deadline. High conscientiousness people love deadlines. So it's something typically like one of the ones that I participated in recently. It's called the Global Game Jam. It's mainly a video game jam. But what they do is they give you 48 hours, and they give you a single word theme that you need to work your game around. And last year, for an example, the single word was bubble. And so we made a game with marbles, just as a component first game, which never would have happened if it wasn't for that game jam. And I think we got a really interesting game. But most of all, we had this deadline that told us, hey, work on this. This needs to be finished now. And that can get you through your perfectionism, That can get you to take those steps that you need to take and to get the game, even if it's 80% there. And you know what? If it's bad, who cares? You've thrown 48 hours into this, and you realize, I don't want to continue working on this. Well, that's so much easier to walk away from than if you've thrown, 48 weeks into that. And then you're like, well, I need to make this work somehow. I just think as a mindset, you're going to have such an easier time if you can make that minimum viable product, put time into it, put effort into it, do your best, but don't get into that perfectionism, because so often it is much more of a curse than it is a blessing. Just as a contrary to that, If you find yourself being the opposite, being somebody who just throws things together and has, constantly is changing things in their game and constantly is taking on new projects and just doesn't cross any finish line for the other reason, which is, not being organized. Well, you know what could help you? A game jam. You know why? Because you'll have a deadline to work on one single project. And yeah, game jams are good. I think that's what I want to say with this. Thanks for watching.